The Provoke Podcast, brought to you by Provoke Media and produced by the international broadcast specialist Marketeers.
Welcome, everybody, to a new Provoke podcast series in which we are going to be talking to some of the strongest and most effective campaigns from our Sabre Awards competition. And I don't think there's any better way to start this series than by talking to the winner of our Platinum Sabre Award for Best in Show at our recent EMEA Awards dinner. That's a campaign from the Netherlands called A Piece of Me that was produced by KPN, the telecom giant in the Netherlands, and a whole bunch of agencies. And here to give us some insight into the origins of the campaign, some of the key strategies and tactics, and the impact it had on the market, we have representatives of both the client and the agency side. And Dave, Jacqueline, why don't you introduce yourselves quickly?
Jacqueline, please go ahead. Yeah, I was a little bit earlier than you are. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Paul, thank you for inviting us. I'm Jacqueline Bosselaar, and I'm the founder of the PR agency HPB. And we joined the Dentsu creative team and, of course, our client, KPN, in this journey.
Great. And I'm Dave Trouwenfelder, working for KPN, responsible for KPN's brand and marketing communications. And I think I was one of the first people who worked on the strategy change, which ultimately led to a better internet and to this first groundbreaking piece of work.
Can I start with you, Dave, and
Sure.
Just get a little bit of background in terms of both where KPN stood and where the market was, and what it was that prompted this sort of reevaluation of your positioning and brand platform?
Yeah, sure. Well, the Dutch telecom market, and I'm not sure, I think most markets are similar. So it's highly saturated, right? So it's a little bit it's more about price and speed and coverage. And they're all expected from customers, right? They all want the best quality for a good price. But you can't really differentiate anymore on those kind of value items. So instead of competing on features, we decided to lead on meaning. So the change from value to values. And our positioning became exactly as a translation of our purpose, actually. So we don't just deliver the internet. We would like to make it better. And that's a bold shift from utility to responsibility. And a repositioning that ultimately led the platform, which we called #BetterInternet, which is not a campaign, but it's a long-term commitment to make the internet not only like faster and greener, faster and more reliable, but also safer, more inclusive and more sustainable, not only for our customers, but really for society, to help society move forward. So there is a darker side on the internet. The internet brings us a lot of good and great things, but we cannot deny that there's a darker side on the internet, and that's why we thought it's in our purpose to do also good for society. So we should put it in the heart of our brand and also in our campaigning as well. That was ultimately the change we briefed the agency with at that time.
How much research went into this change, and how much was it just sort of a desire on the part of the company to move away from price-based and feature-based marketing into something sort of perhaps a little more permanent?
Yeah, I've had a lot of research actually, because there's also a lot of research available, I think. But to be quite honest, if you're in a market where every brand is sort of similar, and we are competing here in Holland, like every day feels like a Black Friday, to be honest. So we all talk about promotions for new customers, and we're not talk about like other stuff that we can help people and society with. So we felt that although there is a lot of research, it was really necessary to make a change also for ourselves and our culture within the company, and also based on our heritage as a company. I think we are the oldest telco in the Netherlands. So we've been connecting the Dutch in a safe way since 140 years. And we are still doing that and leading that nowadays. So I think this is a big evolution based on the history of KPN, and also how the current market position is within Holland, with a lot of price competition. And if you want to stay out of the price competition, then you have to really show and demonstrate your value, not by a campaign, but like showing that you actually mean it and you have a lot of proof behind it. So it's not just words, but it's actually actions behind all those words to help society forward. So it's a combination of both this research and both like our own belief that we should do something to really redefine ourselves from the rest of the pack.
And tell me a little bit how you got, and this I guess is a question for both of you, how you got from that sort of broad positioning around a better internet to the specifics of the Piece of Me campaign.
I can start about that, because the better internet, that was the line that really gave of like a, in Dutch we say like butterflies in your stomach in a way. So it feels good, but also feels a little bit insecure, because if you say you are the provider for a better internet, then you also have to prove it, and you have to have really take action for what you're saying. So that was already step one in like a bold move. So deciding that we are going to launch the platform, and we felt safe doing that because we have a lot of proof points already behind all the work we do at KPN. Only we never talk about it. It's really like hidden somewhere on our corporate website. And by bundling it and naming it Better Internet, we make it more visible to society and to other companies as well. So that was step one. And basically the next step immediately after was to have a lot of awareness around Better Internet. Each year, we decided we should have a impactful topic, which ultimately leads to visibility around Better Internet and talkability about the subject. So that was our approach, and that's why we're also working now together on with all the agencies which were involved last year in the campaign we're going to do this year as well. So it's a promise for ourselves, but also to society, that we're going to address at least one urgent topic each year, but still continuing to work on the topic we've addressed earlier. So that's the approach. And I'm sure, Jacqueline, if you want to elaborate on that.
Yes. Well, what was very informative for us and was that based on the research, we saw that KPN used to be seen as a traditional company, and the K of KPN stands for Royal. And it used to be a little bit relatively flat on emotional values at that time before we started. So we really knew that we had to focus on, we had to make sure that that the campaign had to be earned first by design. We had to really earn and deserve the attention of the people. For a traditional company addressing a skeptical audience, the Dutch are very skeptical, and dealing with such a sensitive topic, online shaming, and also knowing that in the telco industry, companies tend to prefer to stay neutral all the time. We needed to focus on, we needed to thread carefully and really focus on building trust and credibility. So therefore, we knew that the campaign needed to be earned first by design. And so it was completely earned first, like the insights that are used in the strategy are very confronting, and that actually helped us to, they were that confronting and that interesting that it helped us to spark the public conversation around it. But also the creative that we work with the other agencies here. I'm talking on behalf of all of us.
Yeah, sure.
The creative was that engaging and that powerful and that heart-wrenching, that it was so much part of the culture of the Gen Z target group that it was embraced immediately. It was so real that it really convinced that we were convinced with our message. But also we collaborated a lot with important NGOs and experts and victims that really helped us to spread the message, to support it, but also to protect it. And yes, and all of that, also like the orchestration of the media, we really were focusing on having the victims tell the stories, and Mo, the artist that we collaborated with, she really knew how to talk about this message in an authentic and credible way. And this helped us to reach the audience and to be well received.
So you've touched on a couple of things that I sort of really loved about the campaign. First, that it seemed to draw a lot on the experience of people, particularly young women, who had fallen victim to this problem. And you obviously, talked to and engaged with a lot of them before the campaign started. And then the medium you chose to deliver the message, which was highly unusual, I think, finding a prominent singer who connected with the issue and brought it to life in an incredibly vivid way. So tell me a little bit about sort of how the strategy and how you sort of got to the insights and then to the choice of medium.
Yeah, sure. So based on the subject, right? So it's not like an easy subject, and it wasn't easy to also convince everybody within KPN that this is the way to go, because it's a really sensitive subject. But we listen to our audience, right? So we listen to Gen Z, and we did that through a platform which they use on a daily basis. That's TikTok. So we we started the first online live show on TikTok, which is called TikTok Talk Show, for Gen Z, by Gen Z, where they can discuss all kind of matters on the internet, on what internet does to the lives of those people. And we heard that like online shaming repeatedly came up in those conversations with them. And we knew if we want to be relevant as a telecoms provider, and we want to connect generations, so Gen Z together with their parents, we have to be there where it hurts. And Mo, the artist, didn't experience shaming herself, but she belongs to a certain generation, which is the same generation, right? So she knows what's going on. She interviewed the victim. She listened deeply and shaped her story and ultimately her song into the lyrics. And that's why immediately, if you hear the song, and of course it's Dutch, obviously, but there's an English translation, the song already by itself speaks more than words could ever do. So it's really it really lingered, so to speak. But discussing shaming and sexting and mental health, it really felt risky. But the belief in doing good prevailed in there, and I think that was a first big step for us as a bold move for provider. And we also knew that if we want to address Gen Z, like a public service announcement will not work, right? Teens tune out at lectures or told what to do or not to do, but they do listen to music and they do connect with somebody from their generation. And the good part about music is that it also connects generations, because music I like is also something music maybe my daughter likes, or the other way around. Not always the case, but there are some songs, especially like the older songs, which are also it survives generations, and also it connects generations in a way. So I think the using music as a earned first strategy, so to connect, was really the big first step. And then also together with the video clip which is behind it, which is really amazing. And we specifically looked at all the details in the movie and you can really feel it. It's for me as a professional, at least the first 10 times, it was impossible for me to watch it professionally. Right? So the first 10 times, 9 times I started crying immediately, over and over and over again. So it was really hard. And if something as powerful as that does that something to you, then hopefully you hope that it also resonates at other people. And that was the case when we brought this to our board of management. We had a lot of PowerPoint presentations with slides and figures and what if, but eventually when we showed the creative, and I knew what was coming, so I held my heart when I was watching the screen, because I knew that I would start crying again. I just only looked for 4 minutes at the screen, and then afterwards I turned my chair, and there were board members also crying and had red eyes, and there you feel they felt the first time the connection from like a human being to a human being, from a parent to a parent, and it's better than from CEO to myself, right?
Have you ever had a reaction like that to a piece of content in the board?
Never.
That sounds absolutely unique. And my next question was going to be, was there anybody in the leadership team who thought, boy, this is really risky. This is, the use of sexual content without consent is a very touchy.
But it is. Even for a country like Holland. I can imagine if some more conservative countries, it's even harder. But even in Holland, which is a really progressive country, this was a really sensitive topic. And as Jacqueline already mentioned, KPN, I like to call it the Switzerland, or used to call it the Switzerland of telco. So really neutral, not choosing sides, high in quality, but it's for everybody. You figure it out what you want to do with it. And this is the first time that we really addressing people on their behavior, right? So that was a tricky part one. And the second part was the subject. As you said, it's not like the first topic you have maybe in mind if you want to do a campaign like this. So up front, we had a lot of discussions with the board of management, and we also looked into other subjects. We held them in our bag, so to speak. So we made sure that there was a plan B in case they felt insecure about moving forward. But there is a moment in the progress that you have to decide to produce something. And then that's where I think a small group of us decided to move forward with the online shaming part, because we felt if we want to hit and connect the generations we're talking about here, so Gen Z and their parents, which is like the mass of the country, then we should strike that with it in the heart of what's going on there. And online shaming was emerging there. So we felt we can do this in a right way. So addressing it in a right way, helping people in the right way with the right NGOs and the right partners and right platforms. So from our campaign point of view, we were really secure and felt secure that we could deliver what we promised. But of course, if you're a little bit outstander on the situation, you're not working really close on all the details, you were really, really insecure on the whole thing because it could blast in your face when you do something wrong or make it too commercial or if it wouldn't hit the right target audience. So that's why. Yeah, sorry, Jacqueline. I'm talking a lot. Sorry.
No, yes, I really admire the braveness that KPN showed launching this campaign. Barto, the other day, he told us there were 10 reasons to do it, but there were 11 reasons not to do it. And
11,000 actually.
So yes, from a reputation point of view, we actually spend much time on a robust brand protection plan, mitigating potential risks, as we did on the promotional part of the campaign.
Yeah.
Let me just ask a little bit about your choice of artists and the way in which the process worked.
Yeah.
How much freedom did you give to her and her team, and how much collaboration and involvement did you have in the video, the presentation, putting the song together, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
What was the balance there?
I think you must feel like you must trust each other. I think it starts with trust. So also the selection of the artist was really an intimate setting. I personally, together with the creative director from Dentsu, interviewed 3 artists who are all popular, or all could fit the profile. But we want to make sure in that intimate setting that we made sure to each other that we are here in this for the long run. We are here to change and improve the internet and the lives of people here. This is not a commercial campaign by any. It never will be. So we want to make sure that our intentions were pure and clear, and that the artists also felt the same mission to improve the internet and help the generations together. So that was basically step 1. And with Mo, everything came together. We had she's really wonderful. She's at that time she was only 23 years old. So really young, but for her age, really already adult in the way she speaks, thinks, connects, really on an emotional level, connecting with people.
And sorry, for our international audience who may not be familiar with Mo, tell us a little bit about.
So Mo was she was an emerging singer-song writer in Holland. So when we tapped into her, she was really big on her audience, Gen Z in the Netherlands. But she was about to break through on bigger audiences because there were 2 shows coming. One of those shows is this is my screen doing a lot of things. When I move my hands, they'll start doing things. So one of us is a national show, which is called Best Singers. And then the best singers of Holland can sing songs of each other. That's the idea. And that helps to bring it to a broader audience. And the second one was like which is the Friends of Amstel, which is like a really big live event, 17 shows with 20,000 people every time. She was planned in that show. So we knew that popular on Gen Z and emerging on like the broader audience. That's a little bit about the background of Mo. Oh, and to your question about like freedom, we gave her complete freedom to write the song the way she wrote it. The only question we had up front, but she really felt in the same way, is that we insisted on her meeting people who've experienced online shaming. So really understand what they felt, how it happened, and how it's going with them right now. So together with one of the NGOs, we facilitated that conversations, and Mo really insisted to do that as well. And based on those conversations, she wrote this song, and that was the first big piece of the puzzle that we lay, a big one. And the second one was the video clip. And we already had an idea for the video clip. So the idea from the video clip came from the agency Dance to Creative, in combination with a talented young female director, Emma Brandenhorst, also really young. I think she's now 26. She's one of the really young talents awarded at Cannes a couple of years ago. So famous for the way she directs her movies, really real, raw, authentic, mainly also with young people in it. And the way she handled the film, so she gave her vision on the script from Dance Creative, and it really came alive. We selected the cast, and the cast of the video aren't just actors. Some of the cast aren't actors at all. They were friends who just would like to join this as an experience. And Emma made in a short time a close group of like really a friends group of it. So by taking them out bowling and reversing together all the day, and then going out to a restaurant together. So in like a couple of weeks' time, it really felt like one group. And that's what you also see in the film. You feel that there's they understand there is a connection, but since they are not really actors, some of the characters really felt it personally. So they feel the pain, and it's really hard for them to also switch off that moment. Actors is really easy. It's like action and you go. But for those people, it's not really common to do that. So we also had professional people there supporting them up front during the takes and afterwards. So make sure that they feel safe and secure to perform in the way they like to perform. So a really special progress where we gave a lot of freedom to both Mo and also to Emma and the agency. And it really felt as one team. Also together with HPB, it was never like KPN and then all the agencies. It was all the time a group of people working together on the same mission to make and improve the internet for good. And I think that's the magic behind it. But it was really hard to understand up front that it would happen and it would turn out this way. It did. So yeah.
So Jacqueline, tell me a little bit about how it became such a phenomenon, because I'm sure that just organically there was a lot of interest in the song and the video and the message, but I'm assuming too that there was a lot of work to amplify it, to make sure that it did in fact go viral in a big way. Tell me a little bit about how you managed that process.
Yes, that's a good question. So to start with, in general, we worked very, very carefully and we had to make sure that every detail was right because of the sensitivity of it. And we carefully managed all the stakeholders, and we orchestrated the media attention and trying to balance the sensitivity and to bring it to a bigger scale. And what we did, we launched the campaign not as a normal advertising way. In an advertising way, we did it very in an earned way, and like you launch a new song of an artist. So there was a gathering, quite intimate actually, a gathering for media where Mo presented her work, her new song, where we shared the message and where we invited various of our NGOs and experts that we collaborated with. And then we launched the song on all the music platforms. And what was very important to us was that we made sure that KPN was a little bit at the background in the beginning. So we could really give the message and Mo the space that was needed to be embraced. And we had a newsroom where we did a 24/7 media monitoring. So we were tracking the sentiment. And when it was really literally hour by hour monitoring and make sure that everything was either neutral or positive. And then when it actually grew and grew by the hour and things were working out very well and in a positive way. And only then we knew we were ready to bring the initiator of the campaign, KPN, to the front, and not before that. And we were helped with felt very secure because we had this robust brand reputation plan at place where we could mitigate potential backlash.
Right. Did you experience any backlash or?
Well, actually,
no. Very well received.
Yeah, we've never seen that. Well, I've never seen this before because we were so curious from day one what this would do if we brought it into like real life, right? So we were all internally we're really over the moon, obviously. But I've never seen a campaign that hit by head. I think it's 96% was like positive sentiment, 3% neutral, and 1% was red. And that 1% were at that time a couple of people who made comments like, "Yeah, but you should not make pictures in the first place," which is basically addressed also in the campaign. And the fun part about that is that we also saw that messaging coming from LinkedIn, because parents obviously use also LinkedIn in their jobs, right? So the video went viral on LinkedIn within that first weekend, because one of the tech people in Holland, Alexander Klupping, he's really an AI specialist and like a tech guy, and he shared that video, which immediately led to like other people seeing the video and also sharing it with their comments into it. And if there was like a bad sentiment in there somewhere, then immediately people were start correcting each other. So they had the conversation themselves. We didn't do anything to correct it, or so it was it's like a self-fulfilling positive vibe that we were bringing into the world.
Yes.
And then let's talk about the impact, because one of the things that I loved about the campaign was that you could really track the impact of it on the conversation, on the sort of legal and political conversation around this issue, and just as important from your point of view, on KPN's reputation. So tell me a little bit about sort of how you measured the impact and what pleased you about it.
Well, we track impact on various levels for every campaign, right? So we work closely with Mindshare here in the Netherlands. We measure every campaign in terms of awareness and recognition, brand awareness, stuff like that. But you also mentioned a couple of other things, Paul, which really struck, because it was spread like a cord or something, like a really powerful cord. Teachers used it in classrooms, and we saw that immediately emerging also within our own bubble, but also outside the bubble. Sorry. So I was. People know that I work with KPN when I go to judo class for my daughter or my son, but they don't know what I do or what KPN is doing. But people are starting approaching me on this campaign, which they've seen through the WhatsApp chat from their class, right? From their together with parents. So also in the classrooms, policymakers quoted it in the debates. So politicians. That was the first time. Again, I got really goosebumps all over when Mo and KPN were mentioned like 4 or 5 times by politicians in a debate on online shaming. I was like, wow, I've never experienced that before. And we have a great external affairs team within KPN. So really like working close on a regulatory level in Brussels and also in Amsterdam. So we have like political connections with all parties, and we let them know that we are starting this campaign, and when we were starting this campaign. So there was already a law in the making, we knew, later on in time. But based on the conversations they had and based on the fact that we did a campaign that had a lot of public awareness, they decided to speed up the whole process. And the law change immediately, I think it took us 2 months or less after the campaign to get the law live, which was planned later in the year. And also the school program. So we learned from the NGOs, normally if you want to have something implemented in a school program in Holland, the average time you should take is 2 years. We did it in 2 months. So that's crazy. And then and also because of it was it went across the border, like within the week. So messages emerging from Ecuador, Portugal, Germany, UK, US, France, Belgium. We saw that this is a universal problem. This is also a universal message that apparently can help not only people here in society in Holland, but also across the globe. And that's that's something you cannot measure upfront in in the mind share charge, which we measure basically every time. We didn't predict at all when we went live. And we're also helping now the entire industry with through the GSMA in Seoul and in Barcelona. To help other telcos in other parts of the world to create similar campaigns, because we see that if we do that together, we can make more impact. And it's basically really the first time that I've experienced personally that you can, together with creativity, you can really move the world in a better place. And I've never seen it before. So on that scale.
No, it was clearly, beyond the impact that you had on KPN's reputation in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
it was clearly an industry leadership thing. Which is great when a PR campaign can elevate the company to that kind of level. Where do you go from here?
Yeah, that's I think the hardest question we always get from everybody actually, but well, it's not that hard because we knew up front this was our first chapter. So Better Internet is our long-term platform, and each year we will take an issue within the world of online safety, inclusion, digital well-being. And this year's theme is already in development. We're not ready to reveal it yet, but what I can say that we will continue to listen, we will continue to push the boundaries and prove that the creativity can be a force for good. We've learned a lot of lessons in this campaign, so we've seen what we've worked in this campaign. We will use those same elements and we will try to put some extras in there to make it even more impactful, but it will be obviously really hard to achieve the same levels of success. And I'm trying to downplay it with everybody within the team and within the company. But if you ask me personally, if you ask our team, we are even more motivated to step up and make it an even better success because we see that we can help society together with this, and that's the biggest thing that we can do. So we're really motivated, and it's not a campaign, it's a movement now.
And Jacqueline, just tell me a little bit from your perspective about what it's like to work on something like this. As as an agency team, it must be incredibly gratifying and fulfilling. How did your people feel about it?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yes, indeed, it felt like an incredible honor and an opportunity to work on such an important and successful campaign. The whole team is extremely motivated, and a question I get a lot from other clients or people who are inspired by the campaign is whether they love the campaign, they love the fact that it actually has a lasting impact on society. But the question I get a lot is, what does it do to the brand? Why is it important for the company? And what I like and love about this campaign, it is such a great example that there's actually a connection between growth and good. And all the metrics, like the business results are really there and so impactful. in terms of thought leadership and reputation and other business results. That it is, to me, an inspiration for other companies to step in. And as a professional, this case also demonstrates that corporate reputation is super important, and that actually corporate reputation and commercial impact are truly connected.
Yeah, that was what stood out for me when I looked at the campaign in the awards, was at a time when a lot of people are very nervous about purpose-driven campaigns, particularly maybe on the other side of the Atlantic, and don't want to be associated with a potentially controversial issue. This just seemed like a great example of finding something that was absolutely relevant to the brand, that was creatively executed, and that had an impact both on the social issue and on the standing of the company, and real measurable benefits from the company point of view. So, when I look at the boxes that I like an award entry to tick, this one ticked them all. Big, brave, impactful, creative, everything. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Really nice. Really kind of you to say that. And we feel really honored to receive this award, and also because it also gives a platform for campaigns like this and the subject. So it helps us raise awareness on both cases, and it's fantastic.
Great. Well, I hope this podcast inspires others to do just as great work and send it into the awards. And thank you for your time, both of you.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
You've been listening to the Provoke podcast, brought to you by Provoke Media and produced by the international broadcast specialist Marketeers.